Welcome back, YouTubers, to another Q&A with us, the British Fist.
Gotcha!
God, I'm tired after that hour Q&A, MJ, so you'll forgive me if I'm feeling a little bit jaded in this Q&A, but you can subscribe down below, like this video, and comment your thoughts on the questions we've answered down in that comment section below also.
And make sure you contact us in the link in the description box below.
Don't know what you're looking at, MJ, but I am looking at the fact that you guys can send us in questions at any point you want through YouTube inboxing us, through commenting down below, facebook.com/BritishFist or twitter.com/BritishFist with the hashtag BritishFistQA.
Because the more questions we get, the more we know you enjoy what we do and the more we provide for you.
Yeah, this is why we did an hour-long Q&A, because we know a lot of you guys' questions hadn't been answered yet, and we wanted to do it in an hour-long Q&A, but we're back to normal now. The Q&A 85, the first question of which is from a YouTube name that I can't pronounce. I think it's Gil X Hugo asked us 5 questions. The first of which was a pretty interesting question. What would your dream card be from top to bottom? My main events would include The Rock versus Shawn Michaels for the WWE Championship, Undertaker versus Goldberg in a Hell in a Cell match, and a Stone Cold Steve Austin versus the Hollywood Hulk Hogan match. Wow, you've given us a lot of freedom to go there. Do you want me to run down a couple of my matches? Austin versus Hogan would be one of them, definitely. The Rock versus Macho Man, The Undertaker versus Sting. As for other matches, I am not really sure as to what other matches I would pick.
Eddie versus Daniel Bryan.
I think Kurt versus Brett would be a really good match.
Strap one. Eddie versus Punk.
Eddie versus Punk.
Yes.
And I'd definitely have Brett versus Angle. That would be a great match to have at WrestleMania. What about NWO versus DX?
I'd probably have Kane versus Sting or Undertaker versus Sting.
Something like that, yeah. I think we've got a pretty decent card there. Since Ryback has botched his finisher multiple times, what finisher do you think the WWE should give him instead? I'd say give him the F5, since he's built like a machine character anyway, and Brock Lesnar seems to have a new finisher. Wouldn't be a bad finisher. I mean, if Brock Lesnar didn't use it, which I don't think he does, he's more of an MMA kind of UFC type guy on WWE.
That wouldn't really work, because if you think about what you just give him, his finisher right now, he's got to lift them up anyway.
He's got to lift them up on the back of his shoulders.
If he does an F5, he's still got to lift them up, and it's still, you might botch that too. So if anything, I'd probably give him what he's already doing, but try and advance it, the powerful clothesline, because JBL used to win matches with the clothesline from hell. The fact you gave Ryback a powerful move, why not advance that and make that a finisher for him?
Okay, I think the difference between the shell shots and the F5 is the shell shot you have to grab them like that and put them on the back, whereas in the F5 you just have to lift them on your shoulders like that, which is a hell of a lot easier than doing that, which is why the F5 would definitely work. I mean, John Cena can lift Big Show into the AA, etc. So I think the F5 could definitely work for Ryback. He can definitely lift the guys up. It's just with the shell shock, he has to get them like that, lift them by the leg, then put them on the back. That's why it's so hard. That's why the F5 is so much easier to perform. Who do you think was the hottest WWE diva ever? I think it was Christy Hem, because I am biased towards redhead, but Trish Stratus is a close second. The hottest WWE diva ever?
Lita.
Trish Stratus, just really hot. I mean, I could say AJ, but I'd have to go back to Trish Stratus.
Lita as a heel definitely paid off. Trish Stratus I used to like, but then as I got older, I saw it all plastic.
What are your predictions for the main events of WrestleMania 30? You know, the main event could either be Stone Cold Steve Austin versus CM Punk. It could be, it could be Taker versus Cena, WrestleMania 30. That would be a big match. Maybe even be Ryback versus Cena. Who really knows at this point? It depends who they can get in and what they think can main event an iconic WrestleMania.
If Austin's going to be there, he's getting the main event.
He will definitely get the main event if he is there. What do you guys do for work/school? Well, we both finished school now. I work for my dad's company. I work in an office and I do the finances for my dad. You're a counsel, not a counsel, what am I saying? You're a counsellor, so that's what I meant to say, a counsellor kind of person.
I could quite easily go back into college/open university to upgrade what I've already been doing, but at the moment, job-wise, I work as a carer counsellor. Carer
counsellor, that's what I meant to say. How do you manage to answer, this is from Liberty Bell, by the way, interesting question. How do you manage to answer all of your subs' comments, and most YouTube wrestling sites do not? And sometimes I think I'm your oldest and openly gay subscriber. Does that make you all uncomfortable? My partner believes it may. No, I don't feel uncomfortable with an openly gay guy commenting our videos. Why would I feel uncomfortable?
Well, we've got 2 questions here. I'll do the first one you asked us first, and I'll go back to Gay's part of the question. Is how do you manage to answer all your comments? Well, yes, we do a lot of videos in 1 week, but the main thing is interaction. That's one of the reasons why I personally joined YouTube, because I had all this wrestling conversation. And other than Dan and a few people at work, I didn't really have a friendly kind of conversation about wrestling. So So I joined the YWC and Facebook and Twitter to talk more about wrestling. So answering comments just came in able to do that.
For me, the way I do it is I set aside like an hour, like every day, to respond to comments, whether it be on my channel or the British Fish channel. That's kind of how I manage it. I just set aside a little bit of time when I'm not really doing much else to answer the comments. As for you being openly gay and you commenting us, I have no problems with that. Why? I mean, you're commenting one of our videos. Why should that affect the way I see you, or if you're gay or not?
And I personally give credit for what you've just done.
So
Because obviously in public, we've read out your questions exactly how you gave it to us, and the fact you've openly said it, for other people to judge that, I think that'd be quite terrible of them to do so. So I have no problem with it, and I support what you've just done here.
And continue giving us your comments, of course, Liberty Bell. If that is your real name, Mr. TNA 2005. That's us 10 questions. He always seems to ask us a bunch of questions all at once. Let's start. Let's get going with this one. Why do you think the WWE never put the title on Umaga? Other than John Cena. Again, I think Umaga was one of those characters that Vince McMahon never really saw as a top guy or as a face that he could build his company around.
The terrible thing about Umaga is that he came one of Vince McMahon henchman sort of thing, so he could have quite easily just said, for your hard work, you're going to be facing, let's say, John Cena, our WWE champion, and gave him somehow the win over John Cena, made him the champion for a month or two, just to make it, one, Vince McMahon saying thanks, and two, to make a monster in the WWE get a win, and a big win over Cena.
And to be honest, it was all about feeding John Cena at the time, let's face it. Who do you think was the best assembled team from these singles guys put in WWE? MVP and Mr. Kennedy, Jerry Show, Rhodes and DiBiase, Rated RKO, when this feud would be with DX, Taker, Kane, or Cena. The best assembled singles guys with Rhodes and DiBiase, they just fit together very well, really.
Even though you go down all of them, MVP and Mr. Kennedy, I don't remember too much about that. Shows how that big that was. Jericho, you could say Miz as well. They were two great tag teams that benefited and were great heels. You have Ted DiBiase and Rhodes. Yeah, they did great against DX, so I really enjoyed them, and they obviously could have, if they did it correctly, paired up on their own and became big. And Ray RKO, well, great heel back, so I think they all did pretty well. But the standout one, Rhodes and
Rhodes and DiBiase. MVP and Mr. Kennedy had that feud against Taker and Kane, and really just they were nowhere near their level, so it never really worked. What do you think is the 3 questions that Damien Sandow would ask if he selected you from the crowd doing the whole apprentice thing? So you start with 2 easy ones and then make a difficult one. So it's like you start with a question like,
"What are you doing on YouTube?"
What are you doing on YouTube? Finally.
Next question is,
why do you rip so much on the World Wrestling Entertainment?
And the hard one is, do you think you could beat me in a match?
What is Damien Sandow's middle name? No one knows about that,
Eric.
do they? It could be Eric, but don't let them know. They're not supposed to know that kind of stuff. What is your favourite submission move in wrestling? I've always liked the sharpshooter. That's a personal favourite of mine.
I like the triangle hold, because I've enjoyed how Taker's done it, but I'd say when the ankle lock's done correctly.
When the ankle lock's done correctly. What would you prefer from this list? Oh God, here we go. Being put to sleep by Samoa Joe, listening to 10 minutes of Dixie Carter, going to a club with Robbie E, or going fishing for the day with EY and Robbie E.
First one.
Yeah.
To actually be in what Samoa Joe has made such a big thing for him as a wrestler himself, I would love to be in that experience and feel the pain and the sleepiness of that move.
But at least if I listen to 10 minutes of Dixie Carter, I will fall asleep and I won't feel pain. So probably B for me personally. I understand that Jeff Schlegel, or the Schleg Daddy, hates Jeff Jericho. What is your reason for hating him and when this started? Well, I guess the reason for us hating him was because when we first viewed TNA, the whole of the product seemed to revolve around him, and we really saw no reason why a guy like Jeff Jarrett, who really wasn't relevant in 2011 in his feud with Kurt Angle, why the whole show should revolve around this guy over other younger, more talents that could be bigger draws.
Even though, as I hadn't seen much of Jeff Jarrett before they got him off TV, thank God, is that, yes, the only thing I didn't like about him was his involvement, was like every segment somehow would fit in me. Like, I bet if TNA did it, he would be involved in the knockout segment somehow. Well, he was with his Karen. And he just got too involved.
Yeah, he was just massively overbearing the show, which really, just at the time, we really thought it wasn't warranted at the time when you had such young talents in there. If Wade Barrett versus Magnus would main event WrestleMania for the WWE title, who would win? Think about who would be better between the two and more entertaining. Wade Barrett? You think Wade Barrett? Yeah, I'd have to say Wade Barrett simply because it's at WrestleMania and WWE, aka Vince McMahon, want to put over Wade Barrett over Magnus.
And Magnus cannot beat the Barrett barrage. No way.
No, Magnus couldn't beat the Barrett. What would Magnus's Barrett barrage be? The Magnus
slap.
The Magnus slap. Doug Williams, Christopher Daniels, and Kurt Angle are amazing in the ring and submission guys. Why do you think TNA didn't put at least one feud between two of these guys? I think it's mainly because Kurt Angle is kind of up there and Daniels and Doug Williams are kind of down here, and I don't really think it would work if they feuded.
I personally would like to see Daniels and Angle, just because with AJ getting all the focus, you know, with Angle, it'll be good. If now we've had Daniels beat AJ, yes, now he should be able to progress, and he should be the one to go against Angle. So, to be honest, I would love to see it, especially if it happens somehow in 2013.
A Daniels-Angle feud, it's got to work where Daniels has got to that point where he maybe could go against an Angle, but I don't really think he would win. Who has the best entrance music in wrestling, WWE or TNA? I'd really like the Miz's theme. I mean, I'm talking, think of a theme that suits the person.
Nexus.
The Nexus theme was really
Triple
the best
H.
suited them. Triple H, yes.
Kane.
Undertaker, Kane. What about in TNA? Any themes in TNA? I don't know why, I used to like the Immortal theme. Don't ask me why, I just did.
I'm not really the greatest fan of TNA themes, just because WWE seems to be more out there compared to the way TNA is. But I'd say I'm leaning a bit towards how they got Andersons and Hogan's.
Yeah, you'd thought that Sting being in the Hall of Fame bound for glory means the leader of the Ace and Eights would attack him. What do you think of AJ being revealed as the leader and the main reason for attacking him being that he wasn't the first inductee? An interesting storyline, I must admit, but like I said, do you really think AJ could be a top heel when the crowd obviously would want to cheer AJ Styles? It just wouldn't work.
Even though they are trying to make AJ heel, at the time when it was going on, you would not think AJ for 1 minute because of him being a base, him siding with Angle, him going against Daniels. So I don't see it being AJ, but Sting being attacked at the Hall of Fame could have been an interesting idea.
AsGeek11, Mr. Parkin, if you were to manage and build your own five-a-side football team, which would only include WWE and TNA talents, who would they be? Well, in goal, I'd have to have a big guy, so I'd go for Big Show in goal, or Mark Henry, really depending. In defence, I'd have to go for another big guy who I feel could take out a lot of their attackers. That would be Ryback. As for a winger who's fast in the WWE, I'd say someone like Evan Bourne or Kofi Kingston. Midfielder who I think can hold the side and be a good leader, I would say Wade Barrett. And up front, who do I think has scored the most goals?
Orton with his punt.
Orton with his punt. Yeah, that's a good one, actually. I like the little spin you put on that one. NJ, if you was to build a crime investigation team and were only allowed to include WWE and TNA wrestlers, who would they be?
Okay. I'd have Santino, and I'd have Santino and Archie because of their styles, you know, of cleverness and thinking.
You need to have a diva in there.
Barrett is the clever thinker, the one who sort them all out, you know, do this, do that. A diva, I think, for the distraction and the hotness, I'd have Lita, you know, just to get her in there. I'm not having AJ being overused, especially in this. And one more, just for the big guy you don't want to mess around with, it'll be none other than Mark Henry.
Mark motherfucking Henry. Golden Eagle 407, do you think Kane will lose his mask again? Should he? I mean,
Not another storyline is losing his mask. No, thank you, not again.
I think at this point late in his career, it would probably be a good thing to just have him keep the mask, really, especially when he's only got a couple more years left, we would think. So I don't really think he should lose the mask again, personally. He's already had a run without the mask. So Metal Ruler 4-5. Who are the most overhyped wrestlers in WWE/TNA today?
John Cena.
John Cena is massively overhyped. I think to a certain degree CM Punk is overhyped because people think he's like the next big thing when the ratings have gone down to a 2.5 and he's the champion. Ryback could be considered one because he's like new into the company and, you know, obviously in TNA, overhyped wrestlers, I think Chavo was overhyped when he came in, even though he's at the right position in the company. Can't really think of any others. Sting is overhyped, you know, let's face it, he's having a return on 1-3-13. Devon's overhyped being wherever he is in the SNH.
And everyone who seems to fight for the TV title at this moment in time.
I think Eric Young is overhyped a little bit as well. I mean, while I know he's a good wrestler, I've seen his matches, but his character is just so stupid right now, and he's overhyped. People say he's funny, but I'm sorry, he's not. What type of heel should AJ Styles be? He shouldn't be a heel. The crowd wants to cheer him, so he should. I think if anything, he should be an edgy babyface, personally.
As a heel, I think he should be one that stands up and does what he did. He starts expressing himself. So I think he should just go a bit like CM Punk did, just grab the mic and say how he feels about stuff, especially how he feels about other faces in the company.
I think AJ Styles letting himself go on the mic about how TNA used to be and how it is now and the changes that Hogan had brought in would be a perfect character for him as well, because he could be the one guy legitimately that could represent the TNA of like a 2005 or a 2004. Anything goes show WWE. Which pay-per-view in WWE history do you ask yourself, I wish I was there live? WrestleMania 17. Definitely for me.
Even though, again, I think I would have personally said WrestleMania 28.
WrestleMania 28. Interesting.
The reason I'm going with this is because as he's getting to the last WrestleMania that Taker could be in, you want to be there to see Taker's final matches before he finishes. Just the way I see it.
Would have been good at WrestleMania 3 as well. Jamal Payne, who would you like to end Taker's streak? Don't think it should end personally, but I think if it does have to end, it should come up. A guy who WWE are definitely going to have as their face going forward. Who would it be? I don't know.
There's two names. Okay, number one, if they were going to give it to someone just because of their history and how long they've been in the company for, it would have been Kane. For someone who's not been in the company long, who could benefit from it, is Barrett, because I still think we could go down the whole story that Barrett's waiting for the right time. That's why he's never mentioned Taker since that moment in time. And Barrett, again, it will do him so much justice to have him be the one to do it. But it's the streak, so...
I'll probably get shot for saying this, but Ryback.
Rocket launcher, flamethrower, buried alive, everything, yeah, because Ryback should not finish Taker. No way, no bloody way. Not Skip Sheffield. Skip Sheffield should not be able to do that. He might break another leg.
You've seen this picture of me here. It's cute, isn't it? I nearly broke that picture just then. Where are we now? Dubstack G. Who would you guys consider to be the top most underappreciated wrestlers in WWE today? One of them being Alex Riley, another one being Drew McIntyre.
Appreciated because of all the hard work that person did. Hard work.
Riley and Drew are the big two, in my opinion.
Well, I would say unappreciated, maybe underrated stuff, but unappreciated. That's done like a lot of work for the company, but you don't really get to hear the name being mentioned.
Christian.
That could be one. I think Edge would definitely use him.
Mark Henry.
Kane in some way, but not as of recently. Yeah, they're the names that stand out.
It's very hard for us to come up with a list of 10 when I don't really think there's that many underappreciated wrestlers, because a lot of them are new to the roster and a lot of them are new faces of the last 5 years, so it's really hard to really put a stamp on them as being underappreciated. Really.
Yes.
Matt Hardy, fan 246, if the Undertaker streak ever ended, do you think John Cena should be the guy to end it? Well, let's face it, guys. If there was one person on the roster right now that we could believe that could end Taker's streak, it would definitely be Cena. Let's face it. I mean, you have to admit facts. The way Cena's booked, he could definitely end Taker's streak. Do I want to see it happen? No. I'd like to see Cena go up against Taker, but I don't want to see Cena necessarily beat Taker. Let's move on.
Well, hang on. This book of John Cena's accomplishments is so big, you know. There's no room for them to have Taker's flipping streak. Does not need it. Not him.
You see this empty space here? Do you see this blank page there? That's Taker's streak.
That's his career finishing. To be honest, to finish Taker off should be given to someone who could really benefit from it and someone who the WWE want to give the win to. Because to finish Taker off, that is setting a statement.
Indeed is. Dino Mac 24, aka Crazy Dad. Why do you think Tyson Kidd isn't getting a push? He is a great wrestler because he's small. Don't see him as any kind of main eventer because of his size purely.
Following the tag team with
Justin Gabriel.
His old tag team,
Dynasty.
I still think that the tag team should have kept on going. He should not have broken and finished. Then he should have carried on with Justin Gabriel. So I think it's just the WWE let him down. I think he could have gone further than what he did.
No, I just don't see it. It's just his size. He's a great wrestler, but does he strike me as the kind of guy that could be a main eventer? No.
Not a main eventer, but I still think he could be higher than where he's at if the WWE didn't drop the ball with him.
Mid-card. Psycho Walker. Do you think it's the right time for the Shield to have their debut match, or is that too soon at TLC? Well, no, I don't think it was too soon, because if you look at the match itself, they needed something other than these attacks to make people stand up and take note. The fact they needed to show that they could actually win matches, unlike the Aces and Eights. So I don't think it was too soon. I think that obviously Dean Ambrose and Rollins have been wrestling for a long time. Reigns is a bit more newer to it, but I don't think it was too soon.
No, when it comes to causing havoc the faces or the company itself are going to want to get their revenge or set a statement. So for them to actually get a match was the right move to do.
AJ Warrior, worst wrestler of all time, WWE and TNA. Garrett Bischoff, David Flair, David Arquette.
Worst wrestler, John Cena can't wrestle, I'm still going to bash that. I'd say Heath Slater just because I can't stand him in the ring, but he's doing his top jobber. Carly, because he doesn't wrestle.
Robbie E.
Big Show's gradually becoming slow, but I still respect what he does in the ring.
Robbie E, Eric Young, Garrett Bischoff, the three of the names that come to mind there. I know it might be a bit late, but what would your reaction be if Eric Young was the leader of the Snakes? Wow, that would really fucking screw this storyline up, wouldn't it? Even though it's already gone downhill.
It won't definitely help Eric Young's career. I think Eric Young should leave, but to be the Ace and Eights, yes, it probably make me want to switch TNA altogether.
What two matches would you special referee in an Austin versus Rock match, a Kane versus Undertaker match, a Road Dogg versus Robbie E match, a HBK versus Triple H match, or a Bobby Roode versus James Storm match? What two matches would you special guest referee? Wow.
Kane Taker at Mania. And then I'd probably go with
Triple H HBK.
Triple H HBK, because I think there's more speciality to that match.
I would love to have refereed an Austin versus Rock match. That would have been brilliant. The top two stars of the Action Era would have been great. I would love to referee Kane versus Taker. I'd be fearing for my safety if I was Kane versus Undertaker. Roode versus Storm would have been interesting in terms of a more recent feud. So I'd say those two. That's really been it. That's our Q&A. It's another Q&A over with. We keep going over 20 minutes in these Q&As because we want to answer all your questions, and we have pages and pages. We have about 7 pages of questions left to answer. This is ridiculous, isn't it?
It's just the thing, because again, I don't care how many questions we get. I encourage more. So if you want to send in more than one at a time, please do. Because the more questions we get, the more likely you'll get an hour Q&A, live Q&As, or everything related to Q&A. So keep them coming and keep them questioned in the comments below.
And also through YouTube inbox, etc. That's the best place you can send the questions to us, the best place for us to sort them out. So that's been a Q&A from us, the British First. Keep watching the Q&As in future, as we will keep doing them around number 85 now. Did you ever think we'd get to 85 Q&As when we started this Q&A series? Did you ever think we'd get enough questions to get to 85?
85 is a huge number. We've passed many milestones to get to here, but the thing is, we could say how great it feels to be at 85, but it's because of you guys that have helped us to get to this point. So what we say is from the British Fist, thank you.
Yeah, and also can't wait to get to 100. That'd be pretty cool as well. Or 104. That'll technically be 2 years worth of Q&As done right there. That'll be a great momentous occasion. I botched there. Damn, I have to wait till the last minute to botch. Anyway, you do an outro.
And thank you very much, people. This has been another great Q&A. I've enjoyed your questions, creative, many times of thinking. Keep them coming. I've got Mr. Parkin and me, NJ. What's up? Thank you very much for watching. And until next time, you lovely people, goodbye.